Alright, welcome back to our podcast. I'm the gentleman, accompanied by the disturbed Southern Belle.
Hello.
And in this episode, we will be continuing our our series of more various creepypastas.
Mm-hmm.
So, this one, we had to rewrite just a bit to make it both easier to understand and also slightly more condensed, as it is a very long story.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm sure probably most of our audience would know.
Right.
Those who like creepypastas anyway.
Right.
So this one is of a truly iconic game and one of my personal favorites, Been Drowned, which is based off of the Legend of Zelda, the Majora's Mask.
Right.
So, this one is, well, it's still going to be a long one. So, meh. It's also going to be written in the form of like different posts posted by the author.
Right.
So, we start on first post, September 7th of 2010. It starts saying, "This will be a long story, but I feel like my safety or the well-being would depend on these posts. It is related to the video game Majora's Mask, and it is the creepiest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I recently moved into my dorm room at the start of my sophomore year in college. A friend of mine had given me his old Nintendo 64, and I was stoked. I could play all the games from my youth, ones that I hadn't played in at least a decade. My friend had included one controller and a copy of Super Smash Bros. While I enjoyed the game, it didn't take long before I became bored of it. And when the weekend came, I decided to drive out to a few neighbors that were nearby the campus, hoping to find some garage sales and maybe locate a few new games. I hit it big at one of the garage sales, managed to get a copy of Pokemon Stadium, GoldenEye, and F-Zero. I even got 2 more controllers, all just for $2.
That's not bad.
That's pretty dang good,
It's good.
especially considering what those games would go for nowadays.
Wow.
So, satisfied with my purchases, I began to drive back to the campus. However, the last house at the end of the street caught my eye. I don't know why I stopped, as there were no other cars around, and there was only one table set up, with what looked like just random stuff. Still, something seemed to draw me. So, trusting my gut, I stepped out of the car and was quickly greeted by an old man. The old man had a weird aura that made me feel slightly on edge, though I couldn't really pinpoint what made me feel this way. But if it hadn't been the middle of the day with other people within shouting distance, there's no chance I would have approached him. The man asked me what I was looking for. I asked him if he had any old video games. Feeling uneasy, I was trying to think of a way to politely excuse myself from the whole interaction. However, much to my surprise, he said that he had a few inside and told me he would be back in a jiffy before turning and heading into the garage. So while I was waiting, I began to glance around at the items that were for sale on the table. It was a rather odd collection of items, to say the least. It was littered with very peculiar paintings, most looking like ink blots used in psychological testing. I began to look through the stacks of paintings and was amazed when I found one that looked eerily similar to Majora's Mask, with the same heart-shaped body with those little spikes protruding outwards. While I was lost in thought, still staring at the painting, the old man seemed to suddenly appear in front of me. He smiled and then handed me a Nintendo 64 cartridge. It was the standard gray color, however it was missing its normal colorful label. Instead, it had been labeled with one word, Majora, written in black marker. I asked him how much he wanted for it. The old man just smiled at me again and told me I could have it for free. He said it used to belong to a kid about my age, but he didn't live here anymore.
Okay.
I found his phrasing very odd, but didn't really think much about it at the time.
Kind of ominous. He doesn't live
Very
here.
much.
I don't know. Just the way he said it, yes. But anyway, he may not have been.
Would have been better had he said he ain't here no more.
Or, I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't know. It was just creepy.
It was creepy.
Creepy old man talking about little boys.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So, I didn't have high hopes about the game, as it looked pretty scuffed up, which meant that it might not work. But trying to remain optimistic, I thought maybe it was just a beta or a pirated version of the game.
Yeah, fair enough.
I thanked the man and got in my car, heading back to the dorm. When I arrived back at the dorm, I put the game in the console and was surprised when I saw a single save file, simply named Ben. I checked the save file and saw that it was pretty far into the game, with almost all of the masks gathered. It was on day 3 by the Stone Tower Temple, with hardly an hour left before the moon would crash. It was kind of sad that the player had been so close to beating the game, but hadn't finished it. I made a new file named Link out of tradition and started the game. For such a shady looking cartridge, I was impressed at how smoothly it ran. It was perfect at first, except for a few minor hiccups like textures being where they shouldn't or a random flash of a cutscene at odd intervals,
Yeah,
but overall not bad.
that could happen on a new game, so
Yeah.
yeah.
However, something a little unnerving happened sometimes. It was that some of the NPCs would call me Link, then at other times they would call me Ben. I figured it was likely just a bug that was letting the save files get mixed up, but it did kind of creep me out, so after I'd beaten the Woodfall Temple, I regrettably made the decision to delete the Ben's save file.
Oh no.
I had originally thought to keep it as a sort of tribute to the previous player, but then decided that maybe deleting it would fix the glitch in the game. While it did kind of fix the problem, it also didn't, as now when the NPC spoke of me, it showed no name. Instead, where my name should be shown, it was now a blank space.
Hmm.
After a bit more playing, I decided to quit as I had homework that needed to be done. So
But honestly, most of these glitches that he's even seeing,
they're pretty standard.
they could be, I could see just, there's nothing.
Yeah.
So
Like he said,
at least he doesn't sound like a moron right out of the
No.
gate. You get what I'm saying?
like he said, the cartridge was pretty scuffed.
It's
so
an old Nintendo game, so
that
yeah.
too.
I mean, it's gonna be could be a glitch.
Also, there's still the chance, from his point of view, that it was pirated
It could have been. I
or
mean,
corrupted in some way.
It could. Who knows exactly?
But, anyways, I had started playing again, getting through the Lens of Truth, and working my way towards completing Snowhead Temple. Now, for some of the more hardcore players of the game, you may have heard of the fourth day glitch. The gist of it is that right as the clock is about to strike 00000 on the final day, you can talk to the astronomer and look through the telescope. If you time this right, the countdown will disappear, and you essentially have another day to finish what you were doing. I decided to use the glitch and try to finish the Snowhead Temple. I managed to get it right on the first try, and as expected, the timer disappeared. But instead of being greeted by the astronomer after pressing the button to exit the telescope, I instead found myself in the Majora boss fight room from the end of the game. Above me, Skull Kid hovered.
That don't sound right.
That ain't right.
I'm just playing. Go ahead.
This was definitely not normal, as Skull Kid never appeared here. I tried moving around the room, however, when I went, Skull Kid was always there facing me. Nothing happened, really, and I began to think it was another glitch.
It's still kind of creepy.
That is
a
very
little bit.
creepy. For me, it's always creepy when someone's there, or where someone's somewhere they're not supposed to be.
Right, and they're like, especially if it's following you.
Especially if it's following
just
you.
creepy. Yeah, it's off-putting.
But, yeah. I just thought it was another glitch, and just as I was going to reset the game, text appeared on the screen. You're not sure why, but you definitely have a reservation.
Okay.
Ominous message.
Very much so.
I recognize this message as it appears normally when you get the room key at the Stockpot Inn.
Well, that would make sense. you have a reservation. Yeah, I did it.
Yeah. But why was it happening here? I refused to believe that the game was trying to communicate with me and began walking around the room trying to see if I could trigger it to appear again. Instead, another message in the game appeared. Go to the lair of the temple's boss. Yes or no?
Okay.
I thought about it for a moment, wondering what I should press. Then I realized I couldn't select no. So
that's even creepier
that's
a little
much
bit.
creepier. I pressed yes, and the screen then faded to white with the words, Day of a New Day. I appeared in some kind of weird Twilight Zone version of the clock tower. I walked from the clock tower only to find all of the inhabitants were gone. Usually, after using the fourth day glitch, you can still find the guards and dogs that were outside the tower. I suddenly felt like there was something watching me. I literally felt like I was personally in danger, not the game's character.
That's creepy.
The music playing was the Song of Healing, but it was being played in reverse, which got louder and louder, making me feel like something was about to pop out, but nothing happened. Every now and then, I heard the faint laugh of the happy mask salesman, but it was just quiet enough that I began to doubt I was really hearing it. I walked all four zones on the clock town, but found nothing. Textures were missing, and I don't know if it was a combination of the haunting music and the odd atmosphere, but I was literally on the verge of tears, though I had no real idea why. I almost never cried, but something had gripped me with a powerful sense of depression that was both foreign and almost crippling. I tried to leave the area, but the screen would just fade to black, and I would end up in a different part of Clocktown. I tried to play my ocarina. It did not, or I did not want to be here. But every time I tried, I would see a message that said, "Your notes echo far, but nothing happens."
Oh gosh.
At this point, I felt like the game didn't want me to leave the area, but I had no idea why. I then came up with the idea that I could drown myself in the laundry pool and then would likely spawn somewhere else. As I ran towards the pool, Link grabbed his head and the screen flashed for a second, and I could see the happy mask salesman smiling at me, with Skull Kid's scream playing in the background.
Oh, good God.
When the screen went back to normal, I found myself staring at the Link statue, which is seen after playing the song Elegy of Emptiness. I turned and ran out and was back at the back at South Clock Town, with the statue following me.
Oh, God.
At this point, I was on the verge of hysterics, but never once did I ever think to turn the console off. The terror felt so real, I tried to escape the statue, but it would appear right behind me no matter what I did. Then Link began to behave weirdly. He would flail his arms or spasm randomly, then the screen would cut off again to the salesman, and then I would be face to face with the statue. I ran to the Swordmaster's dojo, hoping to find someone, but again found myself alone. As I tried to leave, the statue cornered me. I tried to attack it, but it was of no use. I just stared at the statue, waiting for it to kill me, but again the screen flashed to the salesman. When it flashed back, Link was now facing my screen, like he was literally staring at me.
God.
I ran from the dojo when I was suddenly warped to an underground tunnel, with the reverse song of healing playing again. I was given a moment of relief before the statue again appeared behind me. I hurriedly made my way out of the tunnel, appearing again in South Clock Town. The screen again faded to black, and again the message, "Dawn of New Day," appeared on the screen. When the screen returned to normal, I was standing on top of the clock tower, with Skull Kid hovering above me again. I looked up, and the moon was back. I equipped my bow and fired an arrow at the Skull Kid. It hit him and showed an animation of him reeling back. I fired again and again, but on the third arrow, a text box appeared that said, "That won't do you any good, hehe."
Oh, God.
I was then picked up and levitated upwards on my back. Link then screamed as he burst into flames, instantly killing him.
Jesus.
I had never seen this move before in the game, and Skull Kid himself didn't have any moves. As the death screen played, my lifeless body still burning. The Skull Kid laughed, and again the screen faded to black. Then I appeared again in the same place. This time I tried to rush him, but this had the exact same effect as earlier. This time, during the death screen, I heard the Song of Healing playing in reverse. I again appeared in the same place. I remembered that in the original encounter with the Skull Kid, you were supposed to use the ocarina to travel back in time or summon the giants. I tried playing the Song of Time, but before I could finish, Link's body again exploded into flames and he died.
God.
After the death screen, this time Link was lying on the ground. His head was tilted towards the camera, with Skull Kid hovering above him. Then, after roughly 30 seconds, the screen again faded, showing the message, "You have met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" The game then loaded to the title screen. On the screen, I noticed that my save file was gone. Instead, there was a single file entitled Your Turn. It showed that it had 3 hearts, 0 masks, and no items. I loaded the file and again found myself on top of the clock tower, with Skull Kid's laugh looping over and over.
Oh, God, that'd be creepy.
I quickly reset the game, and when it booted up, there was another save file below, Your Turn, below Your Turn, entitled Ben. It was exactly the same as the previous Ben's save file that I had deleted. I turned the game off and tried to get some sleep, but I kept hearing the reverse song of healing and was filled with a sense of dread. The next morning, I drove back to the old man's house to ask him some questions, taking a buddy with me because there's no way I was going there alone. When we had arrived, however, there was a for sale sign in the front yard, and no one answered when I rang the bell. So now I'm back at my dorm writing down my thoughts. I'm terrified of this game, even more so now that I'm reliving it all again while writing it down. But there feels like there's more to this story, and something is calling out to me to investigate further. Ben is a part of it, but I'm not sure what. If I could get a hold of the old man, then maybe I could get some answers. I need a few days to recuperate before tackling the game again, but next time I'm going to record footage all the way through. So then it continues to post to September 8th of 2010. Last night, everything got too real for me. I'm done messing around with this. I had a dream that the statue was following me. I would be minding my own business when suddenly I felt something behind me, only to turn around and find the statue. I remember calling it Ben. I had never had a dream that was so vivid, but at least I did get some sleep. The next morning, I put off playing the game, instead deciding again to go back to the old man's house, but again found no one home. A neighbor was outside mowing the yard, so I walked over and asked him if he knew anything about the old man, and was told he was moving. I asked if he had any family or kids, but was told that he never had been married and he had no children. I then asked him who Ben was. The man told me there had been an accident around 8 years ago involving a young boy named Ben, and that shortly after the boy's parents moved away, and then shortly after that, the boy's parents moved away, but he wouldn't say anything more. I went back to my dorm and started to play again. After loading the game, again found the same two files, though the Ben file seemed to have more progress than it did earlier. I summoned my courage and loaded Ben's file. I was immediately thrust into chaos. I was outside the Stone Tower Temple, but the zone itself was different. Link's body was distorted, his back was cocked to the side, his expression was dull, with a blank stare as if he were dead. Sounds played, but they weren't from the original game, and almost sounded demonic. I was in a new environment for about 2 minutes before again the statue appeared, and I again saw the dawn of a new day screen. I found myself in the scene that normally played after you traveled back in time. I regained control, but the camera was at a weird angle. I was looking up from behind the door to the clock tower, watching my avatar run around as a Deku scrub. I opened the door and was greeted by the salesman who simply told me, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" The screen then turned white. Then the screen returned to normal. I was in Termina Field. I was being warped around and there was no sign of a day, a clock, or anything. I finally got my bearings and looked around the field, but instantly saw that it wasn't normal. There were no enemies, and in the background was a twisted version of the Happy Mask, the Happy Mask salesman theme playing. I began running towards Woodfall, but I noticed a group of three figures off to the side. As I approached them, I saw the salesman, the Skull Kid, and the Elegy of Emptiness statue. I watched as Skull Kid was doing some kind of idle animation on a loop, while the statue was just standing there eerily, but the salesman scared me more than the other two. He was too idle, staring at me with that same creepy smile. However, when I moved, his head slowly turned and followed me. I hadn't engaged in any dialogue with him, yet his head still continued to follow my movements. I pulled out my ocarina and tried playing the salesman's song, and then the song of healing. Just as I finished, an ear-piercing shriek blasted from the TV, and the sky began to flash. The salesman's song then sped up, and again Link exploded into flames.
Good God.
The three figures stayed on screen during the death screen, watching the body burn. I was then met with the same message. "You've met with a horrible fate, haven't you?" This was the third time seeing it, and it had to have some kind of meaning behind it. I had little time to think about it, as I was immediately shown a small cut screen of transforming into a Zora, and I now find myself in Great Temple Bay, scared, but I was also curious about what would happen next. I began to make my way towards the beach, and there I found Epona. I wondered if she was trying to get a drink, and I was unable to take the mask off and decided that the horse wasn't there for me to ride. I suddenly realized that Epona was neighing, and that the way she was angled made it look like she was trying to signal to something in the distance. On a hunch, I dove into the water and started swimming. Sure enough, I found something at the bottom of the ocean, another statue. I went down to examine it, but suddenly my Zora started making a choking animation, which made no sense as Zora could breathe underwater, but nonetheless, my character choked and then died. I didn't respawn this time, but was again back at the main menu. The press start screen was now on the TV, and so I pressed start and found that the new save files told me about Ben. Now it made sense why the statue had appeared when I tried to go to the laundry pool, as if the game had anticipated how I would try to escape the day 4 clock town. As I suspected, Ben was dead. He had drowned. But the game isn't through with me, taunting me with new save files. It wants me to keep playing, to go further. But I'm done with this. I'm not touching the new save files. I'm too emotionally and mentally drained to mess with it anymore. Then it continues to post number 3, September 10th of 2010. I know it's early in the morning, but I can't sleep. I've been up all night and I don't care if anyone sees these posts. That's not the point. I just want the word to spread so that I haven't suffered for nothing. I did what you guys said and played the Elegy of Emptiness song at the first prompt by the game I was given, but I think that's what Ben wanted me to do. He's following me now. Not just in my dreams, I see him all the time, just watching me. I haven't left my dorm, staying inside with the windows and blinds closed, that way he can't watch me. But he can see me when I play. The game is getting really terrifying now, and has started talking to me. Not just using the text that was already in the game, but it actually spoke to me. It referenced Ben. I didn't know what it means. I don't know what it means. I never wanted any of this. I just want my old life back. I'm just a kid, not even old enough to drink yet. It's not fair. I want to go home. I want to see my parents again. I'm so far from them at school. I just want to hug my mom again. I just want to forget the statue's horrible blank face.
God.
My original save file is back, just as it was before, but I don't want to play anymore. I feel like something awful will happen if I don't, though. But that's just dumb. Just a video game. It can't actually hurt me. Like, seriously, it can't, right? September 12th, 2010. I know you guys are worried about Deuceable. I don't know what that's.
That's his username.
I know that's his username. I mean, I don't know how it's pronounced.
I don't know. Usable, whatever.
Anyways, I know you guys are worried about me or about him, but he's okay. He just finished moving out today and said he's going back home. He's just taking this semester off. I'm not really sure what happened, and I have an idea you guys know more than I do. I'm his roommate, and obviously I knew something has been wrong with him for the past few days. He stayed in his dorm all the time, fell out of contact with literally all of his friends, and I'm pretty sure he hasn't been eating much. After the second day, I couldn't take it anymore, and I crashed at my friend's place, only coming back to the dorm room if I needed something. I tried to talk to him several times, but he would just cut me off or keep the conversation brief. If I ever asked about his strange behavior, it was like he was convinced something was hunting him. Yesterday, I came back to grab my philosophy book, and he approached me. He looked awful, with huge bags under his eyes. He told me he needed me to do him one last favor. He finally explained what had been going on, about how the game had lured him to to play it again instead of trying to change things that he shouldn't have done. He asked me to upload his footage to his YouTube account, and I asked why he couldn't do it himself, but he got a wild look in his eyes and said he is never looking at that game again, and that's the last thing he said to me. He never even said goodbye when his parents came to pick him up. I never even got to meet his parents. On the flash drive he had given me, there was footage of the game from last night, a text document, and his username and password for YouTube, and a third document called thetruth.txt. Well, text, whatever.
Right.
He told me that this meant everything to him and that I should follow his instructions exactly. Normally, I would have thought it was stupid to be this serious over a video game, but the look on his face was enough to make me want to honor his wishes. I went to his YouTube channel and watched the other videos, hoping to figure out what was going on, but I'm really confused. The video I will release tonight, and then on September 15th, I will release the truth.txt just as he requested. I haven't watched the video he gave me yet, so I'll be seeing it for the first time after I upload it. I think I'll give him a call tomorrow to see if he's okay. He should have made it back home by now. About the video, in this video, I cut straight to when he loaded the bin file. I noticed that if he left the save select screen up, it would show different names sometimes. Sorry for that, but all it said this time was the same at the end of the last video, which showed Link and Ben. Sorry I cut that part off. September 15th, 2010. Hey guys, Jade Usable here. This will be the last time you will be hearing from me, and this is my final gift to you. These are the notes that I've taken and the realizations I've made. Before I delve into this, I want to thank you for following me and thank you for listening. It feels like the weight of a powerful burden is about to be lifted. By the time you read this, I won't be around anymore. But after spending 4 days with this maddening game, I've begun to understand what's really at play here, and hopefully, after reading this, we can ensure this can never happen again. These are things that I could not share with you while this was going on due to the circumstances to which I'll explain. With Ben blocking any attempt I made to try and relay the truth to you, I tried ever so subtly to warn you guys in various ways. Amidst the chaos in my delirium, I devised a barely noticeable pattern in my videos. In all 5 videos I recorded over the last 4 days, I've either had the mask of truth, interacted with the gossip stone, or had the lens of truth equipped at some point. For you Zelda enthusiasts, these are all symbols of honesty and trustworthiness, and I would hope that one of you would have picked up on the reference. As I played the file, which I would name Ben, being mindful of how Ben was watching my every move in the game, I made a point to avoid doing anything too obvious, but I sent out a hidden message to you guys. I never equipped the lens nor the mask, nor did I visit a stone. It worked, and the video was uploaded. I prayed someone would notice the pattern, or would notice the pattern didn't apply to Ben. These tags followed suit. I hope you guys paid attention to those as well. These were my little messages to you. Nothing big enough that would catch Ben's attention or make him suspect anything. With Ben manipulating and changing my files, I honestly hope you guys saw what was close to what actually happened. But there was no way for me to know. September 10th, 2010, or September 6th, 2010, 11 p.m. Can't believe what happened. Not sure if this is some kind of elaborate hoax, despite the fear. Who or what is the statue? September 7th, 2010, 4:23 a.m. I can't sleep. I've been trying so hard, but the harder I try, the more restless I get. I feel like the statue appears whenever I close my eyes. 8:20 a.m. Didn't sleep at all. Just gonna start my day. I don't have the energy to go to class today. I'm gonna drive back down to talk to that old man, taking my buddy Tyler with me just in case. 1:18 p.m. Going back home now. No sign of the old man. Really weird that he's moving out the next day. Or maybe the for sale sign was up yesterday and I just didn't notice. Tyler wanted to know what's got me all worked up, but I didn't tell him. Gonna try to eat something. Feel like death. 3:46 p.m. I could have sworn I saw the statue when I was driving back from the subway.
Oh my god.
It was buried in some shrubbery just watching me go by. I definitely need some sleep. 6 p.m. Connected my capture card to my camera to upload the footage. Thought my computer froze for a second. It made this odd popping sound when I hooked everything up, but now it's working fine. 7 p.m. Footage is uploaded. The quality's a lot better than I thought it would be. 8:45 p.m. Thought I saw an icon pop up on my desktop that looked like the statue's face for just a second. Really unnerved. I'm gonna crash after this. 9 p.m. Began uploading my YouTube videos on an alternate account. 9:55 p.m. Posting my summary of day 4, going to try to stay awake, but I'm so tired. September 8th, 2010. 10:48 p.m. or a.m. I dreamed about the statue. It was following me. I remember calling it Ben. Power of suggestion, most likely. Never had such a vivid dream. 11:21 a.m. I really don't want to play anymore. I think I'm going to go see if the old man is finally home. 1:35 p.m. No old man, but had an interesting conversation with his neighbor. I'll post it with my summary of tonight's attempt to play the game. Gonna see if I can dig up any information on Ben. 3:02 p.m. My computer on its own opened a text document and wrote the words hi and www.cleverbot.com. What the hell? 3:46 p.m. I went to the website. It's one of those bot chat programs. I'll let the conversation speak for itself. So 9:18:10 conversation. User, hello. Cleverbot, hello. User, who is this and how are you able to control my computer? Cleverbot, who am I? User, right, forgot you're a bot. Cleverbot, do you really think that? User, listen, I know whoever is messing with my computer can see my screen right now. Cleverbot, yes. User, and I'll wager that you're one of those IT kids who thinks he's tough crap and you know what you're doing right now is illegal, right? Cleverbot, is it? User, no crap. Are you familiar with the terms invasion of privacy? Get the hell off my computer, kid. Cleverbot, I am your computer. User, cool story. Cleverbot, should I wait until you play the game then? User, what? Cleverbot, the game. User, Majora's Mask? Cleverbot, yes. User, how did you know about that? Cleverbot, because. User, because what? Cleverbot, I did it. User, did what? Cleverbot, I played with you. User, what the hell? Cleverbot, were you scared? User, who the hell is this? Cleverbot, Ben. So that's a bit creepy.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. It's like Ben became self-aware.
Mm.
Kind of makes you think about, the sky,
So, Cleverbot, Ben. User, the statue? You're inside my computer now? Cleverbot, yes. User, how? Cleverbot, you connected me. User, how the hell did I connect you? Cleverbot, cables and cords. User, how? Cleverbot, tell me about yourself. User, what? Cleverbot, tell me about yourself. User, what do you mean? Cleverbot, what is it that really scares you? User, what the hell? Cleverbot, answer. User, no. Cleverbot, answer. User, what the hell? How did you just open that by yourself? Cleverbot, I am your computer now. User, what do you want from me? Cleverbot, to entertain. User, you're stuck inside here. You can't hurt me. Cleverbot, ha, go play. User, no, you can't hurt me. Cleverbot, took you longer to type that. User, so? Cleverbot, you're not sure. User, if you're so powerful, why use a stupid website like this to chat with me? Cleverbot, less messy, more structured, fun. User, fun? Cleverbot, yes, tradition, I like it. User, you think it's funny. Cleverbot, amusing. User, and my notes? Cleverbot, you may write them down. User, why are you letting me? Cleverbot, it's amusing to see what you think of me. Window closes. 3:50 p.m. What have I done? I've invited it into my computer. I continue to take notes, and I feel like I'm prisoner in my one place of security. I don't know if I'm hallucinating or not. I feel like I've gone insane. I can feel it watching me as I type this. Ben is controlling everything in the game, toying with me. But why? What is the purpose? I know Ben drowned, but why haunt me? 7:18 p.m. Ben called to Cleverbot again. He tells me he's sorry and wants to be free, that I can help him. Just like he got into my computer, he can spread, but he needs my help. He says I'm special and I can help him. This is the first nice thing he said to me. He promises to leave me alone if I help him. He swears he will, but I don't know what to do. Can I even trust this thing? 7:20 p.m. I'm terrified of it, but it's saying that that it was just having fun. He's saying that the game is over. I do want it to be over. He says he wants me to be or that he just wants to be free, that he's trapped in my computer and the cartridge. It's watching my every move. I have nothing private anymore. It tells me that if it wanted to, it could do horrible things to me. 9:29 p.m. He called me from to Cleverbot again, but I ignored it and went to take a shower. When I came back, there was an image of the statue on the screen staring at me with those dead eyes. I don't want to talk to him. 9:44 p.m. Screw you, Ben. I'm not talking to you. 10:45 p.m. It's been more than half an hour and the messages have stopped. Ben has stopped. I'm beginning to think he's not confined to only the cartridge and my computer. I'm beginning to feel something. It's hard to explain. 11:42 p.m. I'm starting to see the statue in random places it shouldn't be. I don't know how much more I can take. September 9th, 2010. 12:35 a.m. My worst fears are confirmed. Ben has tampered with my summary. Parts of it has been omitted. There's no mention of Ben existing outside the game. I'm gonna ask Ben why he did it. 12:50 p.m. He isn't responding to me on Cleverbot. It's just giving me generic responses. I'm just talking to a bot this time. 1:24 p.m. I think Ben is mad at me. 10:43 a.m. The Moon Children appeared in my dreams last night. They lifted their masks to reveal hideously disfigured faces. I just gotta point out, for someone who doesn't know about Majora's Mask, the Moon Children appeared to me last night.
Mhm.
That's gotta be so just
It is.
insane
It's
without
pretty random.
context.
It is. Definitely pretty random.
But anyways, they lifted their masks to reveal hideously disfigured faces, maggots crawling out of the sunken black holes where their eyes should be.
Ew.
As a smile on their faces that grows bigger and bigger as they approach me. They told me they wanted to play. I tried to run, but they pinned me to the ground and with surprising strength. Then the salesman appeared, telling me he had a new mask he wants me to try.
Ugh.
He pulls out the mask, and it's modeled after a face I didn't recognize, a younger looking face.
Oh, God.
He handed it to the children, then giggling, they latched it onto my face. Their horrible broken bodies bouncing up and down. Two of them hold me down, while the other two begin to sew the mask to my face.
Jesus.
My screams caused the salesman's face to turn into the most horrific smile I have ever seen. He moved around, examining the procedure. I flailed around, but it was no use. It felt so real, but I couldn't wake up. After the mask was sewn to my face, they began to stitch my legs together. I could feel the pain radiating through my body. I tried to scream, but the mask had no mouth openings. It was tight against my skin. I tried to tell myself that I was dreaming, and suddenly the children stopped and looked at me, just staring. The salesman slowly bent down and said, "You have met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" I wound up sweating I woke up sweating and crying, shaking uncontrollably. I ran to my computer to talk to Ben. 9910, conversation 1. User, answer me. Cleverbot, welcome back. User, what is the point of this? Cleverbot, amusing to see. User, how? Cleverbot, I wonder how you would have reacted. User, to what? Cleverbot, if I hadn't revealed myself and stayed hidden, only doing little things to play with you. Close out your windows, turn off your computer, move your mouse by itself. Little things. Make you wonder if I am there, but you'd never know. Give you little hints that I am. I wanted to do something different with you. User, you did this before? Cleverbot, yes, and I will do it again. User, to who? Ben? Cleverbot, User, did you know Ben? Cleverbot, won't tell you that information. User, how did Ben die? Cleverbot, you know. User, no, but did he drown? Cleverbot, won't tell you that. User, why? Cleverbot, it's reserved for another. User, who? Cleverbot, another who asks. User, when? Cleverbot, later.
It's creepy.
Another who asks.
That is creepy. Who the hell else would it be talking? I mean, it's already saying it's going to be talking to using somebody else or something. That's creepy. But anyway.
So, anyways, moving on. I'm beginning to think this thing isn't Ben after all. I wouldn't be surprised if it took the boy's name after it killed him. 12:04 p.m. My room is beginning to feel different again. There's something out there. I feel really threatened, like something that is trying to reach out to me and strangle me, but it can't quite reach me. 12:46 p.m. I think Ben doesn't want to play with me anymore. I'll play again. I'll play the game. Ben, can you see this? I'll play again. Just please stop this. Please. Please. 1:41 p.m. I'm going insane, trying to decide what's real and what's not. Is Ben just playing a trick on me, or is this real? Is Ben sending these replies, or are people actually posting them? Did I just see the screen flicker, or was it my imagination? I'm looking at the comments on my videos, and people think they're fake. There's no way for me to know if Ben changed something or not. Or maybe the comments were made by Ben as a way of discouraging from posting again. 9910, conversation 2. User, what is it? What's the point of playing? I die whenever I do anything. Cleverbot, you die because you can't figure out the secret. User, what? Cleverbot, thematic. User, what the hell are you talking about? Cleverbot, there is beauty in your suffering. Window closes. 4:09 p.m. Ben is making me play again, saying he has something very important to show me. September 10th, 2010. 11:52 a.m. The drowned.wmv playthrough was up when I woke up today. I remember typing it up, but I don't remember posting it. It's censored again. There's no mention of the old man. I have no voice again. I'm only posting what he wants me to. I'm the mask he uses to disguise himself as he lies. 11:55 a.m. There's an entire video summary of a video that I don't remember doing. Reading the summary, it sounds morbid, resembling my dream from a few nights ago, except on a far more sadistic scale. These moon children, there's more to them, almost as if they're another entity from Ben. Something happened last night that I cannot remember. Shadow of my chair just moved. 12 p.m. Ben won't let me go to YouTube. I can go to other sites, but when I try to go to YouTube, he keeps exiting. Why? 2:02 p.m. I'm feeling the air start to constrict. I don't think I'm alone here. Whatever has been here is getting more violent. 2:42 p.m. I'm trying to contact Ben on Cleverbot, but he won't respond. 3:51 p.m. My ears aren't fooling me. I'm hearing the reverse song of healing. I keep hearing it. 4:23 p.m. Just now I went to open my window, and down at the ground level I saw the old man. I'm completely positive that I saw him. He was just staring up at my window. If anyone else saw him, they didn't acknowledge him. I ran from my room, taking the cartridge with me. I don't want to go into the details about what just happened. I'll lose my train of thought as I hammer out these last few details. It's been roughly 2 days. This is my last summary and service to you. The last video entry I made began as normal. I was spawned at the clock tower, determined to set things right. I sped up time and got to the final day. As I got to the telescope room and approached the astronomer, he would not let me look into the telescope. He told me that it would be cheating if I didn't follow the rules. Despite repeated tries, the game would not let me do the fourth day glitch. This time the game became more aggressive than I have ever seen it before. Finally, it told me to go to Ikana Keep, where the game would end and it would stop haunting me. Wanting to end the nightmare, I played the song and ended up there. I was told to check my inventory. I finally noticed I was missing the Elegy of Emptiness song. Apparently, once I had traveled there and learned the song, it was the last thing before Ben decided it was done playing with me. Ben is a manipulator. He tries to fool his victims into security, and then when you drop your guard, he strikes. I'm nothing but a puppet to him. He enjoys what kind of emotions he can tap into by doing these things. There are still some things that don't make sense, but I was never good at figuring these things out. I'm giving all the pieces of the puzzle to you for you to analyze. I'm writing these closing thoughts on the computer at the library. I've emailed myself the notes that are on my infected computer. I'm then going to combine them with the notes I'm making on this safe computer. I'm not taking any chances of spreading Ben. I don't want to send this torment to anyone else. I didn't have any problems when I was on my computer and emailing the notes to myself. He has no idea what he's let me do. I can't describe how good it feels to finally get the word out in this post. Do not download any of my videos or anything about them. I do not know how he spreads, but I know that just watching a video or reading a post doesn't seem to be enough for him to spread. Otherwise, he wouldn't have needed my help in the first place. This will be my last post. If you see any further posts from me after today's date, September 12th, and after 12 a.m. on that day, do not believe them. Ben has already shown me he can access my accounts and manipulate my computer. Know that it will do anything to break free. He is desperate. To ensure your safety, just forget about me. I'm going to burn the cartridge and destroy my laptop. I'm just glad I could get a warning out so that Ben dies here. And that's it. That's the
Well,
end.
now we gotta wonder though, did Ben die? What if he could still been like on those files? He could have
Probably
followed the
not.
emails. I mean,
Nothing is ever that simple.
I don't know.
Anybody who watches horror movies, reads horror stories, knows it's never that simple.
Or maybe the guy that he got to spread the word for him, he downloaded those files maybe to upload them or something. So
Yes. Probably.
he might have spread to his computer then.
Yeah.
And now, who knows? But anyway, it is a cool story.
It is. It's one of my favorite creepypastas.
It's a good one. That's kind of make you wonder who Ben is. Or is he like really a ghost or is he a demon?
So, to my understanding, well, not understanding, but a theory that I run with, Ben, like the original Ben, was just a kid who was killed by whatever entity was in that cartridge. And then the entity, like the user says, just took his name.
Or then again, it could also be that this kid's having some kind of psychotic break.
Also true.
So it could be nothing. And this is all in his
Yes.
head. Because
Very possible.
yeah, who knows? But anyway, it is still cool.
It is. Very cool story.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this new segment. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And don't forget to stay disturbed.